Low visibility takeoff. The following symbols are displayed to enhance situational awareness. The ground roll reference symbol provides a reference for the ground roll guidance cue. The symbol is positioned 1.5 degrees below the aircraft reference symbol until rotation. As the pitch attitude increases during takeoff rotation, the ground roll reference is held on the 0-degree pitch line until 3 degrees attitude is achieved. At this point, the ground roll reference symbol is replaced by the flight path symbol. When configured for a low visibility takeoff, a ground roll guidance cue provides HTS-derived lateral guidance commands relative to the ground roll reference symbol. This command provides for tracking the localizer during the low visibility takeoff roll using rudder control inputs. After rotation and the transition to in-flight, the ground roll guidance cue is removed from the display. During initial climb, while the flight director is in takeoff mode, the guidance cue is not displayed and the pilot maintains pitch control using the aircraft reference symbol and the takeoff go-around pitch reference line. The flight director derived guidance cue appears when the flight director mode changes from takeoff to any other mode. When the flight director takeoff or go-around mode is available, a takeoff go-around reference line is displayed. This dashed line is positioned at a fixed pitch angle, which is dependent on the flap setting, and is used in combination with the aircraft reference symbol to establish the correct aircraft pitch attitude during takeoff or go-around operations. The takeoff go-around reference line is displayed until the FGS takeoff or go-around mode is exited. The ground localizer scale and index provide raw localizer information anytime the aircraft is on the ground, and nav receiver number 1 is tuned to an ILS frequency. The ground localizer index, indicating localizer deviation, is positioned relative to the 0 middle mark of the scale. The runway remaining readout consists of 2 large numerals appearing under the letters RWY, which show thousands of feet remaining, and the 3 smaller numerals to the right, which show hundreds of feet remaining in 500-foot increments. As an aircraft passes through 9,999 feet remaining, the display changes to 9,500 feet. Similarly, any value less than 500 feet is replaced by a single 0. If an invalid runway length less than 7,500 feet or greater than 13,500 feet is entered under the HCP, 5 dashes replace the displayed value. The low visibility takeoff display and ground roll guidance cue are automatically provided to the pilot once the following conditions have been established. Primary mode selected. IRS is set to nav mode. NAV1, NAV2, and a NAV3 receivers tuned to ILS frequency. Runway length set between 7,500 and 13,500 feet. Selected course set to runway magnetic heading. For a low visibility takeoff, the general operating procedure is to taxi the aircraft into takeoff position over the runway centerline. The selected course is adjusted as necessary to overlay the selected course symbol on the actual runway centerline at the furthest point of visibility. Takeoff roll is started, and the captain uses rudder control to center the ground roll guidance cue and the ground roll reference symbol, concentric circles. If the cue is to the right of the ground roll reference symbol, then the pilot would need to apply right rudder to again center the 2 symbols. At rotation, the ground roll reference is replaced by the flight path symbol. In the event of a rejected takeoff, the captain would continue to follow the ground roll guidance cue until the aircraft comes to a stop. Observe the low visibility takeoff, the aircraft accelerating with the guidance cue centered with the ground roll reference symbol, and the localizer centered under the selected course. Observe the remaining runway length, the target speed, the assigned altitude, and the initial departure heading. The flight director takeoff mode is active. Primary mode climb. After rotation, and while the flight director is still in takeoff mode, the display will appear. The correct pitch altitude is established by positioning the aircraft reference symbol over the takeoff go-around reference line. Speed control is achieved by observing the CAS value on the airspeed tape. In the event of an engine failure, the speed error tape, referenced to V2, will be displayed. Flight path acceleration symbol is useful in determining a position climb gradient and optimizing climb performance. When the desired pitch attitude and airspeed is achieved, placing the flight path acceleration at the wing of the flight path symbol will maintain the optimal initial climb performance. When the flight director mode changes from takeoff to a different mode, the flight director guidance cue and speed error tape are displayed. Radio altitude and the HSI appear after rotation. However, the HSI symbology may be only partially displayed due to display compression at high angles of attack. Additional slip skid symbols are displayed under the aircraft reference and flight path symbols during the initial climb. These symbols are provided in addition to the roll scale slip skid symbol to enhance the lateral control of the aircraft during this phase. These additional slip skid symbols are also displayed during approach operations in the event of an engine failure. Once the aircraft is above 1,500 feet, these additional slip skid symbols are removed from the display. In the video, the aircraft reference symbol is just below the takeoff go-around reference line, indicating that the pilot needs to pitch up slightly. Because of the pitch attitude, the HSI is pushed down partially. Observe radio altitude, the rate of climb, and the heading indications. The aircraft's acceleration is 0, indicated by the position of the flight path acceleration. Primary mode en route level flight. This is a typical HDS display with the aircraft in straight and level flight with no acceleration. Holding the center of the flight path symbol level on the horizon and the flight path acceleration symbol on the flight path wing will accomplish this. In this illustration, the aircraft is level at the altitude and speed shown. Ground speed is a result of the headwind indicated by the wind arrow. During ILS VOR operations, course deviation is displayed as a course deviation indicator line within the HSI compass. The FGS Flight Director Armed and Captured modes, Autopilot status, yaw damper status, and the Flight Director coupled arrows are indicated across the top of the display, similar to the head-down primary flight display. In a level turn, the pilot needs only to maintain the flight path symbol centered on the horizon to maintain altitude. In a level 30-degree turn, the angled portion of the flight path symbol will overlay the horizon line. The target altitude is also maintained by holding the selected altitude pointer inside the altitude scale index. Observe the autopilot setting as well as the assigned altitude, the current heading, and the airspeed indication. Here, the new target altitude is set and the aircraft is descending. The descent profile and airspeed control are again monitored with flight path and flight path acceleration. The desired descent rate is controlled by positioning the flight path symbol in pitch. Observe the descent angle, the descent rate, and target airspeed. Due to the wind at this altitude, the aircraft is flying in a slight left crab angle to track the desired track. This crab angle is evidenced by the lateral displacement of the flight path symbol relative to the aircraft reference symbol. If the crab angle is great enough to cause the flight path symbol to be limited by the airspeed or altitude scales, or the display field of view, then the flight path symbol becomes nonconformal and is displayed ghosted as a dashed line symbol. ILS intercept. In the primary mode, the conventional HSI CDI display is used for all course deviation indications, whether localizer or VOR. When an ILS is selected and glide slope deviation is valid, the vertical deviation pointer is displayed. These displays enable the pilot to perform all normal navigation functions. The current assigned heading is indicated by the digital selected heading value and the heading bugs on the horizon and HSI. The ILS course is also indicated by the digital selected course value and the course pointer on the HSI and below the horizon line. The aircraft is level at determined altitude, intercepting from below the glide slope. The aircraft is out from the ILS DME station, and the aircraft is decelerating slightly to obtain the target airspeed. ILS capture. The aircraft is just completing the turn to the final approach course and has captured the localizer and glide slope. Prior to an ILS capture, the capability of the HS to perform an A3 approach is indicated on the HCP by displaying on the right half of the standby display line an A3. At ILS capture, if approach and course logic is satisfied and all required systems are operating properly, A3 capable, the HGS will automatically enunciate on the combiner in primary or IMC modes, an HCP that the A3 mode is available for selection. Primary mode approach and landing.